So, today I want to talk about my unpopular opinions. I thought that would be an interesting thing to do. So, let's just jump right into it. Kylie Jenner's walk and the WAP video was everything. I don't understand why people were just coming for her in the comment section. Like, everyone was kind of just like, oh my god, why is Kylie there? And if you don't like her, just say that. I don't understand why people were just really trying to drag her in the comment section, oh, why was she there? Or, what is she doing? She's not an artist. She doesn't sing. She doesn't rap. But, she's a model. There are models in music videos all the time. I don't understand why Kylie Jenner was any different. If anything, she definitely did bring something to the video. She has a massive following, which is probably why she was in the video. Because she definitely posted it on her Insta snaps. So, it makes sense why she was on the video. People were really trying to, downgrade her. And they just have a problem with just everything she does. If she breathes wrong, if the Kardashian clan does anything, they just get dragged for it. And they do a lot of messed up things, but simply, I think they did the bottle cap challenge. Yeah, Kendall Jenner, she did the bottle cap challenge. I think she kicked a little cap in the ocean, and people were like, oh my god, you're supporting polluting the ocean, and a bird could have choked on that or something. It was just so stupid. It is ridiculous. But anyway, Kylie Jenner's walk was everything. I was excited to see her in the video, and she looked bomb. I don't know why people were saying she looked bad. She didn't look bad at all. If you don't like her, just say that. Moving on. Nicki Minaj, being literally the best female rapper of all time, she's definitely earned a title as Queen of Rap with 4 platinum albums, 2 number ones back to back. What can you really say about this woman? She's literally been in the game for 13 plus years, and she's really been doing this. She's consistently just been doing well. She's a prevalent name. She single-handedly revived the female rap game. She definitely had a hand in making rap mainstream with her pop sound and trying to contribute. I think the whole Young Money group as a whole, they definitely had a formula of adding the other elements into rap to make it more mainstream. Because when they first came out in 2009, rap was not as big as it is now. Literally, rap is such a versatile genre of music. You literally can just throw anything into a trap beat and it just sounds amazing. And they definitely had a hand in doing that, especially with Drake, with a lot of stuff that he's been doing, and Nicki Minaj incorporating pop into a lot of her music, which was allowing her to chart. Nicki Minaj was competing with some of the biggest names in music. She was charting alongside with Katy Perry and Taylor Swift and Justin Bieber in the prime of their career. She was charting right along with them. She was winning awards you cannot say that about a lot of names. People try to talk about how she didn't have any number ones, which she does now. She has 2 now, as recording this video. But if you were to go back in her chart history, when she got songs really close to hitting number 1. I think Anaconda charted at number 2. She literally did not get number 1 simply because of Shake It Off, which is Taylor Swift's biggest hit of her entire discography. So the fact that she was charting that high before rap was as big as it is today, and people are still trying to tarnish her name is absurd to me. I don't understand. Nicki Minaj is definitely she's the best female rapper of all time. No one's seen her lyrically. She's extremely versatile. She has a number 1 in every, Billboard chart ever. I don't understand. Is this all about... And, people will still say a Grammy. Can we please stop with the scammies? But anyway, that's my 2 cents about that. Next up, we have The Pink Print, which is, one of the best female rap albums of, all time. I don't know why people don't give this album, Well, no. The Barbs definitely give this album its due credit. It's definitely one of her best albums, if not the best album she's came out with. It had hits Anaconda, Feeling Myself, Only, Truffle Butter, and it definitely was an emotional side of Nicki Minaj. Because so many people are Nicki do rap about her, her sex appeal, and she raps about sex and whatnot. But the majority of this album is literally talking about her. Her dealing with relationship abuse and aborting her child, and this is an amazing album. Definitely an emotional side of Nicki that we don't see a lot often because she's a strong, independent woman. We love that, but this is definitely a different side to Nicki, and love it. I've heard this album so many times. One of my personal favorite albums of all time. Definitely amazing. And next up, the Nicki Minaj versus Cardi B beef. Oh my god, this is literally so annoying. Literally every time I go to like a Nicki Minaj video or anything, and Nicki Minaj, all you see is Cardi B can never, Cardi B this, well, never mind. I didn't do that too. But anyway, besides all of that, the fact is, like, there's really no comparison to these two people. Literally musically, they sound very differently. So I don't understand why the comparison is there at all. Like, when you listen to these two, like, their whole kind of gimmick is very different. Cardi B comes off as like a very like hard, gritty rapper. Like, she definitely raps a lot. Like, she reminds me a lot of like Lil' Kim on how she used to rap. Like, you know, she's like tough. You know, she's from the Bronx. She's hard. Nicki Minaj, she's like a pretty girl. You know, she's like, you know, I'm pretty. You know, everything she does is just very subtle. It's very like it's very cute. It's very classy. I don't understand where the comparison is. They sound very different. And not only that, but Cardi B is definitely more of an entertainer, if anything. She's definitely she definitely came out and said, you know, I don't write and I don't really care. You know, I'm in the music industry to make money. You know, it was like music was always like a way to like make money for her to make it in the music industry. Well, to make it in the entertainment industry in general, because you know she's branching out and doing a lot of other things as well. This was never like, to Nicki, this is like her craft. This is her passion. Like, there are stories about Nicki Minaj turning down record labels, going home starving, simply because she was not going to let anyone else write for her. This is like a passion for Nicki Minaj. Like she lives and breathes rap. She's been doing it for so long. Like, this is something that she has pride in doing. I don't understand why people keep like as soon as Cardi B just comes out with like that one, but ever since Bodak Yellow, people are just so, no, queen of rap. Like, people are just so desperate to see Nicki just go away or something. Like it just bothers them that Nicki Minaj has been doing so well for so long. Like, success and like her polished image just bothers a lot of people in the wrong way, and it's like, what are you mad about? What are you mad about, sweetheart? But anyway, my next opinion. The original version of Savage. Okay, so the Savage song in general, I remember when I first like heard the Sugar EP when it first came out. I was actually, when I was listening to it with my friend, I didn't even think that much of Savage. Well, I liked it, but I didn't think it was going to be like the big hit or something. I think everyone thought that like Captain Hook was going to be like the biggest that like it was going to get. My personal favorite was Stop Playing, but the original version of Savage was better than the remix. I'm so sorry. I think that I liked the remix, but I liked it when it first came out. Like, I had it on repeat and whatever, but like after a while, I kind of went back to the original version because Megan's second verse was like everything, and the fact that it got taken out, I definitely do love the remix because I think that more remixes should be done the way that Beyonce did that. Like, she literally did what, you know, a remix is. She took the song and she redid it, which is, instead of just adding her little like verse on it, like she definitely branded herself on that song, and I think people should really take note about that. I think Beyonce really goes above and beyond like in everything that she does, and it was a good remix, but the original version of Savage is better than a remix. Period. Next. Oh my god, Beyonce being overrated. No, Beyonce is not overrated. I'm so tired of seeing this everywhere. People keep saying that Beyonce is like this overrated person. Like, oh my god, like I don't understand the hype. There's literally nobody in this entertainment industry that's doing what Beyonce is doing. Like, she just came out with a visual album. She came out with an entire visual for an hour-long album. Who is doing that? Like, your favorites are complaining about pushing out videos for their singles. She's literally traveling across the world to give people visuals. Like, I'm not talking about like a backdrop, a green screen. Like, she's traveling to these locations and giving people visuals. She's dancing. She's singing. She's just the full. I don't understand. People are like overrated. Who else is doing this? Who is doing this on the level that Beyonce is doing this? Yeah, people can dance. Some people can sing. She does it all, and it just, the visual, the meaning behind it, the impact that it had. Not only did she go to these places, but she also put people on the map. She gave people she gave people like in Africa the platform to support their people. Like, who is doing this? Who is doing this? I really want to know. Nobody's on her level. No one is doing what Beyonce is doing. And until someone can come to me and tell me that, like, oh yeah, they doing it, please stop. Please stop. Next. Oh my god. Game of Thrones. I don't want to say the show is overrated because I actually didn't really get into it as much. I think I only got to like 4 to 5 seasons of it. But this show is just too long. Like, I cannot express this enough. I keep saying this over and over again, but like Game of Thrones feels like someone like took an inch and made it into like a mile. Like, it's just such a long show. Like, all the conversations are just so drawn out. It's just like, I was talking to my friend, like I was telling him like how I thought the show was just like overhyped, and he was like, everything plays a small role into the big picture and the conversations and the whole dialogue, and I'm just like no. Like, I'll be watching like certain episodes, I'm like, this is so unnecessary. Like, this conversation, like certain stuff like shouldn't have happened, and I would have already understood like the grand picture of things. Like, everything, I guess certain people did appreciate like the amount of detail and effort was put into the big like main scheme of things, but I'm just like, this is too long. Like, this could have been so much more shorter. I like just think back in certain episodes, like at the end of each episode, like they're like the directors and stuff get together and like they'll like explain certain stuff that you may have missed. I'm just like, y'all could have, this was so unnecessary. Like, that long ass scene to describe that, like, come on now, that's ridiculous. That show was just like 9 seasons of what? That could have been easily chopped down to 5 seasons. Maybe even 4. They could have even made it to be a freaking 3-part movie. It was just ridiculous. That's too long. Anyways. My next opinion. The cancel culture. Oh my gosh, child. I think people are just really, really bored with their lives. Because it makes no sense as to why people feel the need to go 10 years back into someone's life and pull up something from like a different era of their entire life and be like, see, like this person's a terrible person, like racist. And I'm just like, what are y'all talking about? Like, the whole Camila Cabello situation, when they pulled up that stuff from like her Tumblr account, and she's like 24 years old, and like that was like 8 years ago. I'm just like, what are y'all doing? Talking about something like, she's racist, oh my gosh, she's racist, I can't support her. And another thing about cancel culture that's like annoying, it'll be people who like don't even know who this girl is, and they'll come out of nowhere and express their opinions like, oh, she's canceled. Like, you never supported their artist in the first place. I don't understand why people strongly like express opinions about stuff that they never even supported in the first place. The point of a cancel culture is to not support something anymore. You should like state your claim, even though you really shouldn't, because you don't even support the artist to begin with, and then just go on about your day. It just doesn't make sense, because at the end of the day, your opinion doesn't even matter. You never support the artist to begin with. So I don't understand why you're just coming forth like, oh, she's canceled, I can't listen to her no more, and when you never did. Or people will act like they were a fan so that they can not be a fan no more. And just the obsession with just, like, there are certain stuff that like certain artists, certain celebrities in general, like we put celebrities on such a pedestal, and they say everyday things. Like, people have said stuff that, like, I literally hear in high school every single day. And I'm like, oh, you can't say that. Or since you're a celebrity, you have to say stuff a certain way or be a certain way. And I'm like, celebrities are not role models. They're regular people who just so happen to be in a profession that gives them a large platform and all eyes are looking at them. They are not people that you should be looking up to. You can admire them, certain things that they do, their work ethic, but you should not be looking up to these people. And for you to expect them to have this perfect image is ridiculous to me. Now, I do think that, the idea of cancel culture should be good, keeping people in check and making sure people aren't, spreading hate speech and all of that. But to just throw someone's career away off of something that they did when they were a completely different person, like 10 years ago, do you know how long 10 years is? How much could change in 10 years? It is just it's so dumb, and people just take things so literal and take the wrong. It's like people just are obsessed with controversy, and just they want something to happen so that they can just complain about it and just cancel it. And that's just people's obsession to just ruin people's lives. That's what's really evil. Cancel culture needs to be canceled just because of that. The desire to just ruin someone's life out of your own obsession to do something is just sick. Next. Oh my gosh, the hypocrisy in the Black Lives Matter movement. Like, it's so funny to me that there are certain people who are like, they'll put the fist up in like their Instagram comments or whatever. In their like Instagram profile pictures, but like be homophobic. Or like they'll post pictures like, we're a black man, we don't tear each other down. But when they were in high school, they bullied other black people like all day long. Or they made fun of their hairstyle. Or like there are certain people that like I know from high school, they'll like be like, oh, you sounded white, or like you sound white, or why do you talk like that? Why do you walk like that? And then we're black men, we don't tear each other down. Like what? Like what are you talking about? That is so ridiculous to me. It's so hypocritical. Like oh my gosh. But that's hilarious to me. You cannot support Black Lives Matter and be homophobic, and then let me just shut up. Anyway, the next one. That's just something I had to just get off my chest. Ariana Grande's Sweetener album. Now this album gets so much hate, especially like after like when people were like listening to it. People were talking about like how underwhelming it was and how it's like the ugly stepsister to like the Thank You Next album. And around that time when I was hearing about that, I wasn't like a big Arianator. Like I became like a big Ariana Grande fan after Thank You Next came out. Like when it came out, like that whole era, which was iconic. She ruled 2019, period. But after that like whole era came out, I think I like went back to listen to it. I'm like, hold up now. These are bops. Like No Tears Left to Cry, Breathin', Sweetener, Successful. These are bops. What's going on? Why are people doing this? Like, that was an amazing era. That was an amazing album. That album had bops, and that was just as good as any of... No, I ain't say that. Never mind. But don't sleep on Sweetener. That's all I'm going to say about that. But she definitely had better, like, songs and eras and stuff. So, let me just stop there. But Sweetener was definitely that girl, too. Don't do that to Sweetener. Okay, well, I think that this isn't like an unpopular opinion, it's more so an unpopular thought as well. But you should definitely treat yourself like you're your own individual. Like, I think that the time and love that you put into other people, I think that you should definitely, start to put into like yourself as well. Like the time you take out for like other people, and the time that you take to like listen to other people's stories, you should definitely like listen to yourself as well. I think people forget so quickly that you're a person as well, and you don't have to spend. I think people spend too much of their life trying to please everybody around them, and they forget to please themselves. And then they get to like the age 40 and up, and they're like, why am I not happy? Like, I did everything I was told. I did what he said. I made him happy. But at the end of the day, you should really close your eyes and picture your perfect world and do your best to make that a reality. Because at the end of the day, people's opinions, they don't really matter because they change. People are living with their own struggles and insecurities, and you are not them. You should definitely just focus on what you want because people's opinions change and they don't really amount to anything in the future. But yours will. Because at the end of the day, when you go home and you go to sleep and you close your eyes, the conscience that you have to deal with is yours. Next. So after my first year of college, one of the biggest things that like in 2019 in general, one of the biggest lessons like I had to tell myself was to be careful who you call your friend. Because there are certain people in this world who become your friend just so that they can see the other side of you. Like certain people see like you as like this polished individual, like this person that has like this perfect life, and people want to become your friend just so that they can kind of see what you're lacking as a person. They want to figure out like what's wrong with you so that they can feel better about themselves, and it's really, really messed up. But I'm gonna say that again. People want to become your friend so that they can see what's wrong with you. And in seeing what's wrong with you, that kind of fulfills their insecurities. And it's a really messed up thing, but it's something that I definitely found out a lot about, like, as people were kind of, like, getting around me and stuff, and, like, they pretend to, like, they'll pretend to, like, know what's best for me, but, like, in secret, it was kind of just, like, I don't know, a lot of people, like, assume that I'm just privileged, or I just have I just have everything that I want. I act bougie or something. People just assume that I just go home to, like, this mansion or something, and it was just not the truth at all. And people were very satisfied to see the reality that I actually lived in. And it's a really, really sad thing that a lot of people secretly just want you to have a bad reality, or they just get a kick out of seeing you struggle. Because, I don't know, people just get very insecure when you try to have confidence in yourself. Like when you Like, you can even you can think that you're like the worst person ever, but like if you carry yourself with like your head up and you like carry yourself in a certain way that's like with a lot of confidence, people just hate that and mistake that for arrogance. And in truth, that just really just reveals how insecure they are. But yeah, next. Okay, well, again, this is like another like unpopular thought, but I just wanted to say that comparison is definitely like the thief of joy. And what I mean by that is simply, I feel like you can definitely undermine your own self by just comparing yourself to other people. Like, with my first year in college, I didn't do great at all. And like with a lot of times, like a lot of like friends that I made in college, like, they be posting their grades, like, first year, this is just what I got, and they'll be getting straight A's, and they'll be getting these internships, and it's just like, it really like made me feel really, really bad. And you just have to realize that oftentimes people live very different realities from you. They go through different struggles. You should not be comparing yourself to somebody, because at the end of the day, you're a completely different person, and you grew up in a completely different way, and they're dealing with their own struggles. And I think that it's okay to admire and get influence, but to sit there and wish what other people had is something that you had, it just develops a very like toxic mindset. And when you're looking at what people have, you start to lose sight of what you have. And yeah, that's all I have for that. So next one, the double standards that like hip hop has, and not necessarily with like artists, even though because I don't really see it with artists, because I feel like a lot of artists just kind of reflect on what the consumers want. But a lot of men that are, that like listen, like they're male rappers, they're very extremely hypocritical. Like, they'll watch a female video and be like, oh, she dancing up on him and she just has sex appeal and oh my God. But literally, there are rappers who literally have made a career off of, just club bangers, I'm toting this, and, I'm effing her, and I'm having her, and it's just like, this is just really ridiculous. And like, they can rock out to them songs, like, hey, that's that nigga, hey. But when a female's doing that, it's like, oh, that's all she has. She's a terrible rapper because this is all she can rap about. She has no substance. But in reality, she has other songs where she does rap about other things. But the thing is, I think Cardi B explained it the best. I think she made a video one time, like, expressing this, because when the Invasion of Privacy era came out, she came out with a song, that song, Be Careful. And when she came out with that, a lot of people were asking her, like, what's this? Or this isn't what I was expecting, and this isn't Cardi B. But before that, people were saying, like, oh, all Cardi B is a sex appeal. All she's talking about being a stripper, blah, 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 blah. But when she talks about other things, when she talks about being real in her feelings, it's like, this is not selling. And Cardi B said it best. She's like, okay, I'm going to give the people what I want. Because, again, she's doing this for money. She's an entertainer. She wants to do what everyone likes her to do. So she went back to, like, what she was doing. It's just really frustrating. It's really stupid. Because there are just so many male rappers that just do the minimum. And they just get so much praise for it. And I just listen to, like, so many male rappers, like, all the time. Like, these mediocre bars and their mediocre sets that they've been doing for the same 10 years. I'm sitting there just like... and then the fans are just eating it up like, oh yeah, what I'm saying, 10 years they came, you're still doing blah, 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 blah. But if a female is doing it, it's like, oh my God, like, she's still doing this is all she is. Literally, the big difference between most of these artists is that she's the female that's actually like modeling herself versus a man getting females to model for him for their video. It's just dumb. It's just so ignorant. Next one, the NBA and the WNBA. I've seen so many videos about this, and it just doesn't, like, about, like, how the WNBA players just have an issue with not getting paid, like, the wage gap, which is absurd to me. And, like, they try to make this argument about, like feminism and, it's because they're female. No. Literally, the NBA is a bigger industry, and it makes more money. The players bring in more money. The players have brand deals. They like companies endorsing this. It's popular on TV. Like, this is... And people try to make an argument that, like, it's because they're female. It's not because they're female. It's literally because the company itself is more popular. Therefore, it's going to make more money. The WNBA is not as popular as the NBA. And that's literally what the wage gap comes from. And my last video, hypocrisy and feminism. That's my last video, my last thought. But again, this is like an unpopular thought again. I think there's a lot of hypocrisy as far as like the whole like female equality. So it just feels like in like one breath, a female will say, like, we should be treated equal. We should be equal individuals. This whole gender thing is ridiculous. And I just feel like we're just being treated different. And there's definitely some truths here and there. I just explained the double standards in hip hop, how females and males are just getting viewed differently. But then they'll express in 1 minute how they get treated differently. But then in another breath, they'll express how they should be treated differently. Like, they'll be like, females should be protected. We're not as strong. You shouldn't be hitting on us because we're female. And, you should be providing for us because you're a man and I'm a female. And, you should be doing this for me because I'm female. You should be doing that because I'm female. But then it's like, we should be the same because I'm female. It's just very hypocritical, and it's very just... It just creates this very toxic environment. A lot of female rappers, they rap about like how, they have their own, but you should still spend this on me if you want me. It's a mess. But yeah, that was my last popular thought. If you liked it, please like, subscribe. I really enjoyed doing this video. If you wanted me to do another one, or if you wanted to argue about any of these, because these are just things that I had on my mind. If I was wrong about anything, or you wanted to correct me or direct me anywhere, feel free to do that. And yeah, it's my video. Like, subscribe, and I'm out.